Hello, historical people, Order of the Blade people. Today I want to just go over a little bit about some more advanced footwork or some footwork fun things that I've been finding useful. Anyway, it's mostly, to be honest, it mostly deals with longsword, so it's going to be longsword fairly specific. And then I'll touch on a little bit of single-hander and a few bits you can do. Obviously, the basic footwork, for those of you that don't know, we have, it's called a passing step, where my foot passes the other one, so whatever foot's behind me, it basically just walks forward. Nice big step forward, passing step, passing there. And then you've got what's known as a gathering step, shuffle step, baby step, whatever you want to call it. So that's just where I walk like a crab, basically. So they're the basic ones. And then what I want to look at is called a pivot step. That's where I just sort of turn on a dime. Turn. Sorry, I'm moving the sword as well. I'm just sort of turning in a semicircle. Then have what we just call a side step, maybe a side lunge, where I come out, widen my stance. Okay. There's another one. Yeah, and half step in as well. Half step in, so if mine is like this, I'm basically stepping in front of my other foot. Okay. This won't be the end of the step. You'll usually use this to sort of strafe around. You won't just do one and stay there, because that's quite a vulnerable position, you know. I'm a bit more off balance here. I don't want to start taking big hits with my feet in line like that. Ideally, I want to be wider and braced. Anyway, why would I do it? So you won't really see much here, so let me move this dummy for you. Dummy. So yeah, let's just double check that that looks appropriate. I'll do. So if I was to just take a normal passing step, I'll do it right-handed for the sake of it. Normal passing step from behind my little stick mate and attack, it'll look something like that, okay? Let's just do that slow. So boom, I'm just coming forward towards them, right? Not a problem there really. But notice this, if I step outwards or outside or do a side step, my angle is totally different. Okay, obviously I don't get as much forward momentum, I'm not closing on them, but coming out to the side and delivering an attack, it's something for them to deal with. If I'm as close as I am here, and I know I can't hit the body necessarily, that side step still, it's opened that angle, made them adjust, hopefully made them adjust. Okay, so because I've come out here, all right, I can just shift my weight back to my other foot and turn the sword over, okay, in theory. So if they do recorrect, I can just shift back. Or better yet, I've just gone sideways, now I can pivot back. Can be a bit awkward with the hand movements, but I'll just show you. So if I was lined up, I don't do this right-handed enough, but bang there, and then boom, just swinging that leg back behind me, okay? Two things that does is, I probably should have had it that way around by explaining this, but I create myself a lot of distance, and by not stepping in the first place, not putting myself in harm's way as much, they have to come to me. So if I step out, okay, my body's not where it started. If I just do it forward, my body doesn't change its location at all. So all they need to do is worry about defending the sword and getting that point or whatever to that centre mass. From here, all of that's gone now, okay? I'm all the way over here and their sword should be up here dealing with mine, okay? That's why I do that. From the other side, so again, if I just went straight in, look something like that, if I sidestep it, like that. So again, I'm not even hitting the target, but it sets me up for something else. Half step. Why would the half step be useful? So again, let's say I'm just stood here. Obviously I don't want to, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I've done that a few times, I don't want to risk it anymore, but I still want to attack this side. I know they're weak on that side, for instance. I'm going to step with this foot, okay? Because then that gives me a right springboard to come right round. Obviously be careful, you don't want to be hitting people in the back of the head or anything silly like that. But especially when people are coming forward, okay, aggressive fighters or whatever, if you can just take yourself off that line, and notice, compared to the sidestep I'm off the line there, half step with that pivot, I'm totally side on against this person, okay? One thing I will say though, is you don't want to just suddenly start walking like that, okay? You don't want to just go straight into the step. You want to disguise that step with an attack. And quite fairly easy, just quick attack. Trick is not to put any commitment behind that. You don't care if it lands or does anything. That's just to take their attention away. As like a feeler or whatever, I don't know. You just get out there, as I've done my half step, so bang, half step, and then round, bang. Whether that's a big Virtues work, or if you just, like I like to do, just turn that over and maintain that centre line, okay? So it's a half step with what I call a pivot step. You could do the same with a half step and a passing step, but you don't create the same kind of angle. You're a bit more direct. So it's another good option actually, if that angle is protected. But realistically, if they've just defended on this side for that sword, as I've come here, that opens me up nicely, and they have to move their weapon or themselves a lot more, okay? A little bit more, but a little bit's a lot in the heat at the moment. So that's it, really. So half step into a pivot step, and then you've got your side steps to create those angles. And then you can do all sorts of lovely combinations. So I can sidestep in there, then I can half step and then boom round. Again, don't want to really go for back of heads or anything, but I could even, depending on who I'm fighting, if I'm not sure and I don't want to fully commit yet, I could half step and then just turn that into a sidestep. Okay, I don't need to come forward. I don't need to pivot round until I'm ready to. So I can send that out, sidestep round, and I can even pivot with this back foot now. And I'm maintaining that center position for myself, so I remain a bit more protected, a bit more in control. Yeah, okay, so enough about walking around like an idiot. Single-handers is a bit more tricky, okay? I'd much prefer a lateral kind of movement, a bit more dancey, but you've still got your passing steps, and you've mostly got your shuffle baby steps on this one, okay? Your offline movement with a single-hander, realistically, if you end up in a hanging guard, it can be quite useful to do a kind of half step from the back. So that back foot is just coming across, because then if I do my second half step, I open out a nice little angle there. I wouldn't necessarily recommend sidestepping like that, because it's a very different weapon system. I don't have the structure there. That's very overextended. Obviously you can lunge off to the side. I do recommend that sometimes, but that's more of a diagonal. So I'd be here and I'm coming there, as opposed to over here, because that's not doing anything for me. On the opposite side, you can also do the half step if you end up in a decent cart block, inside block, whatever you call it. You can half step into that and then pivot round. So again, that's basically, if I'm based like this, that's coming across, and then I'm stepping round there, and that looks like bang, bang, okay? And obviously, because I'm here, nice pivot step back, and I can get into a nice longer guard position again. So that's kind of it, my little footwork tips. Thanks, Stickman dude. Still need to think of a name for this guy. But yeah, hopefully that's useful to some of you. It's just, it may sound straightforward, but actually practicing it and doing it is a different thing. A lot of us do get static to back and forth, get stuck in this lateral back and forth. Especially with lunge and recovery type stuff. Do remember you can go side to side, and do remember you can open more angles on your opponent. You don't have to just stick to the basics, okay? Cool. Like I say, I hope that was useful. Might even cover some sword and shield stuff next time, because that's a bit funky with the footwork as well. But let us know if that'll be of any interest to you. For now, see you in a bit.